94 characters. Some of them are loved, some of them are okay, some of them are a little less than okay, and some of them you just don't like. And those characters probably feel like
nobody wants to play with me.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to my countdown for the top 10 actually most hated characters in the Dynasty Warriors series. Now, I made this video a while back ago with a very small percentage of data to go on at the time. I kind of just put like a post out there, me asking an open-ended question and waiting for comments to determine who goes into the list. Because at the time that I was making top 10 videos, at least for this kind of a subject, I was going off of the things that I knew, along with that little small like day and a half or however long it took me to collect the information from that, and I went from there. So that top 10 most hated is not super accurate. It's just, you know, some of them characters on there you're probably going to see on this one as well. But this one is going to be from my data that I've collected from months and months, and a much more accurate list, and when you see the top 10 it'll make a lot more sense versus the one I posted back there. So anyway, with that being said, let's count down the top 10 most hated characters in the Dynasty Warriors series. And just like we always do in the videos, we're going to start off with a couple of honorable mentions. Starting off at number technically 12, we've got the big man of Yan himself, Choo Choo. Choo Choo received about 17% of his votes, coming in at the lowest tiers available during the poll times at the D or F tier, and most of the comments around him, it went either way. A lot of people respected him for who he was in history or the novel, but the in-game representation is mainly, I think, what brought him down. The weapon he's given, I mean, come on, who likes clubs? I think Dynasty Warriors 5 was the closest to how good a club can get. It's alright. Moving on to number 11, coming right after Choo Choo, we have another big man himself, and another, you guessed it, club user, and that's going to be Hua Xiong. And similar to Choo Choo, almost 20% of people put this character into the D or the F tier. People seem to agree that Hua Xiong was better as an NPC than he is as a playable character. I can't help but agree. He shouldn't be so dumb in the games. He shouldn't be this big brutish character. I mean, maybe he was, but he's on the verge of like stupidity. It's a trope they're playing into that I don't feel like is really necessary, but he can be a competent general who just is a little arrogant. That'd been great. That's a grounded character that we can all relate to. But anyway, those are going to be our two honorable mentions. Let's jump into the top 10 most hated characters, the actual accurate list that I could find from all the data I've collected. Let's see if you guys can guess who it is. Alright, starting off our list at number 10, he shares a similarity with Hua Xiong being a playable character in the new Dynasty, or the newest Dynasty Warriors 9. It's not like a new game or anything. Anyway, he received a similar amount of votes into the D or F tier as Hua Xiong, about 19.47%, and that's going to be the speedster himself.
I can't run away, even if I wanted to.
So Zhou Song coming in at number 10, it makes a lot of sense because the character is just not well built in my opinion. A lot of people share the sentiment of him being added instead of Liao Hua. I don't necessarily share the same sentiment. It doesn't really bother me that much. I think Zhou Song has enough interesting aspects to the character that could have been added instead of the trope that he was given. He got the cowboy hat on, his weapon's not very good, and then he's all about running really fast. When I first saw the character's ending, I never understood why he picked up a horse and could run with it. Zhou Song himself needs a revamp. I think he's a decent character. I don't have anything against him. You can play so much into him. You know, if you want to keep the speed thing, maybe notch it down a little bit, make him a little more grounded. That's what attracts real people to these characters, is when they have real elements to them. Sure, people can be obnoxious, but this is just on another level. Anyway, that's all I have for Zhou Song. Go ahead and move on to number 9. Next up, coming in at number 9, we have a character who was introduced in Dynasty Warriors 8, a stalwart general and fighter from the Wu Kingdom, but I think his in-game iteration is what is dragging him down here. 20.75% of people putting him down into the D and F tier, and that's going to be...
Please, don't forget about me.
So, Han Dong in the games, I think that's the problem. It's not the matter of him being Han Dong. It's a matter of him being introduced the way that he was. In the novel, Han Dong has some amazing feats. He has enough that stands out as a pretty strong character. First of all, they made him look like a middle-aged man. He's always worried about people forgetting him. He wants to be in the spotlight. He's like He's a middle-aged man going through a midlife crisis, and that's not really what you want for a character. Maybe if you tweak it a little bit and make it not so desperate and clingy and weepy, and it would be better. I would change his look a little bit as well. I mean, his weapon style is fine, but his look, his personality, he's actually one of the few characters in the game that I actually do not like. Hopefully, he gets a nice little revamp. If not, they'll have to wait until I take over. But until then, Han Dong's going to remain in the top 10 most hated characters according to the data I collected. I don't see that changing anytime soon. Go move on to number 8. Next up, coming in at number 8, we have another character introduced into the games around Dynasty Warriors 7. From the Jin Kingdom, he has a way bigger percentage than the other two. 26.4% of people are putting him down into the D or the F tier. Again, he's another character similar to Han Dong that I actually do not like. I do like his moveset in Dynasty Warriors 8 with personality and all that. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of. And that's going to be...
It seems the measure of one's abilities is not so easily changed.
So Jugadon in the games, I guess he matches the way he's portrayed in the novel. I mean, I don't think he's misrepresented. Sure, flawed characters are great. I mean, honestly, it's not the same as Han Dong because, you know, Han Dong I think was done dirty, but I think Jugadon's on the right track of being the way he's made, and he's just a character that's not very likable. He has likable traits, yes, of course, but I think overall the character is an unlikable character, at least in my opinion as well, and I can see why he made it here in the top 10 most hated character. Now, moving into number 7, very similar in terms of percentages compared to Jugadon, only a like 0.6% difference. 26.9% of people are putting this character into the D or the F tier, and I was a little confused about the character's addition as well. I didn't even know who the character was, and similar to the other Dynasty Warriors 9 additions on this list, I just think the placement of the character is off. I don't really understand it. Maybe if they change the way the character looks or develop, I don't know. But coming in at number 7, it seems reasonable that they're here, and that's going to be...
I've never felt so humiliated.
So Dongbot coming in number 7 makes a lot of sense to me. Again, a character that I don't know how I feel about. When I first saw her, I hated her. As the years have gone by, I just tolerated her. She's okay. I think they need to age her up a little bit. She's like a 12-year-old in the game for some reason, and carrying around a giant flail with spikes on it, which sure matches the character. She's like the little emo goth girl, she's Dong Zhuo's granddaughter, right? Fine. She's got evil in her. That's great. But make her more mature and grounded, and I just don't get why she's there. You know, why is she in the game? What is she bringing? Who decided to put her in the game? Dongbai being added was always a big question mark to me. I just never understood the significance behind it. So yeah, her being here in the top 10 makes a lot of sense to me. I don't have much else to say about her. Dongbei, number 7. Let's go move on to number 6. All right, next up coming in at number 6, nearly 28% of people put this character into the D or the F tier. This character comes in from the Shu Kingdom. He is among the lowest in the popularity polls as well. Every character that's on this list is like really bottom of the barrel, so I think most of the character's hate comes from the fact that he is fictional. Because he doesn't do much, you know, people don't seem to really like him. But regardless, coming in at number 6, we've got...
No, I've dishonored my father.
I guess it makes sense to me. His irrelevancy can definitely push him up here. Don't necessarily understand the pointed hate at him because I don't have a hatred towards the character. The character is just fine for me. I don't mind his designs, his weapon style, his look. I think he got a great moment in Dynasty Warriors 7, and then they kind of didn't really do anything else with him. So maybe that's what's rubbing people the wrong way. I'm not really sure, honestly. I guess because he's fictional. I guess because he doesn't have much of a story. That's why he's hated so much. But regardless, he is among the most hated characters from the Dynasty Warriors series. Let me know what you guys think about that down below. With that being said, let's jump into the top 5. All right, next up coming in at number 5. He's definitely the most oxymoronic character on the list. He should be here. Yes, but he's got a weird thing going on. Okay, so he's got 38% of people putting him down in the D or F tier. That's quite a lot versus Guansuo. However, a lot of the comments, and I would say maybe the reflection of the character is warranted. A lot of people agree that he is constructed really well, which I agree with, and in turn gets the hate that he's supposed to get. And I'm sure you guys can put the context clues together. Coming in at number 5, we've got...
You incompetent fools! I lost because of you!
Obviously, Dong Zhuo is the biggest villain in the game. He shouldn't be liked. He shouldn't be anything of that nature. There are a lot of people that put him up towards the higher tiers because he is represented so well. And that's why he's got that oxymoronic kind of feel to it, because he is exactly what he's supposed to be, and thus he is that hated. I mean, there's not much else to slice about Dong Zhuo. They flesh out the character the way he needs to be fleshed out. Nasty, evil, disgusting. He maybe gets a little bloated after Dynasty Warriors 5 so they can really hem in the evil part, which is not necessary. But he serves the part well. He deserves his ranking here at number 5, and that's all I have to say about that. Alright, next up coming in at number 4, sharing similarity to some of the other characters on the list. I think the hatred for the character comes in similarity to Guan Suo. We got a fictional, irrelevant character who just does not add to the story at all. We don't understand the inclusion of the character. We don't understand why they're there, except for a relationship with another character, but it's limited to just that character. I'm sure you guys know who I'm talking about, and that's going to be...
Oh, this is really bad.
She shares the exact same problems that she has with her boyfriend. She, again, is fictional, irrelevant, she has no depth to her story, and she's only added to be another playable character. We don't know why she's there. Because if Guan Suo has no depth and no elements to him, and Bao Sanyang has no elements to her, they don't even add to the story at all. They're separate. They're almost completely separate from the game, because if Guan Suo is spending, like, having a cutscene with his family, Bao Sanyang's not there. And then Bao Sanyang only has cutscenes with Guan Suo. There's a couple maybe where she has it with a couple other people, but it's so minuscule. And I understand the hatred for her in terms of her being added with no depth. I don't think it's for the character herself. Maybe you guys don't like the way she is. If she had more depth, if she added, a little bit more to the story, or she had a little bit more interesting of a story, maybe she wouldn't be as hated. But because she was thrown into the game and nobody really knows why, I think that's why she's here at number 4. For me, it seems like she was only added into the game in Dynasty Warriors 7 for the bonds that they were doing, the new bond system they were doing in Dynasty Warriors 7. If you're gonna include her, just make her a little interesting. That's all. That's all we need for her. Let's go and move on to number 3. Alright, taking the bronze medal for the most hated character in the Dynasty Warriors series, according to what I've collected. Almost 41% of all people are putting this character into the D or the F tier. Again, similar to Zhuge Dan, I think this character is portrayed accurately. I don't think anything in the game for this character is portrayed necessarily wrong. Maybe his weapon in Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires. The main point, the character constructed inside the games, is the way he is, personality, his look, his fighting style, I think, is just not liked by people. Coming in at number 3, we've got...
If only we could go back to happier times.
Like I said, it makes sense. Maybe the incompetence is what people don't like about him. He couldn't make a decision. He took Shu and threw it into the ground, all that stuff. But, he was a young kid taking up a position he didn't want. So... obviously when he had a chance to surrender, he took it right away. People just didn't seem to like him for what he did in history, or the way he was. He took Shu and didn't really do much with it. It's almost like he didn't want to do anything with it. He wanted others to do it for him. So coming in number 3, it makes sense that he's here at number 3. People are going to have their opinions based on what happened, and he ends up landing himself 3rd on this list. Next up, coming in at number 2, similar to Dong Zhuo and the last number, I think this character was built to perfection. Nearly 50% of all voters put this character into the D or the F tier. If you watch the full video, you'll probably know who this is already. Coming in with the silver place medal, we've got...
Nothing can beat water with some honey added. You are sad indeed, if you can't see it.
So the Rat Emperor himself comes in at number 2. It makes sense why people don't like him. I don't think the representation for him in the games is misconstrued at all. I think it's perfect for him. I think he is exactly what he needs to be in the games, and he deserves his hate. And I mean, that's it. That's why he's up here. But he in Dynasty Warriors 9 is probably the best DLC character. It makes sense that he's there. It makes sense the role that he plays, the way he is, his personality, his look. Everything fits well into the character. There's not much to argue about that. A lot of the comments also agree with it, but similar to Dong Zhuo, he fills the role that he's supposed to fill, and that's why he gets the hate that he deserves. Go move on to number 1. Now, I'm assuming this is the character that you guessed before the video even started. More than 50% of people are into the D or the F tier. This is a character I genuinely don't understand why they put in, and I will never, ever understand why. Coming in the first place, we have...
I don't think I was very helpful there.
Xiaoji should not be in the game the way she is in the game because it makes no sense. Even if they're trying to change a relationship where it's Zhang Fei and he's a caring person for Xiaoji, he's like a gentle caretaker, it still makes no sense. Why is she there in the conversations with Jing Sai and Zhang Bao? Why are they calling her mother? They look older than her. She looks like she's 12. Why are you bringing her into the game like that? Look at Zhang Fei. Why are you bringing her into the game? Look, I understand the history or whatever, but this is a fictional hypothetical game. Everything about the game is fictional. Everything. I do not understand why they could not bring her into the game, age her up, and make her more appropriate to be in the game. It doesn't really bother me of who gets added. It's a matter of how they get added into the game. Xiaoji is probably the only character, maybe besides Dong Bai, because she's the only character for sure that I don't understand why they added. It just feels so weird. She's the only character I have that. She's the only character I feel should be removed. I'm a very big advocate of keeping characters. I hate roster cuts, even if they are fictional and you guys don't like them. Anybody on this list and you want to get rid of them? No, I like them. I like characters being added. I like dynamics that they bring that's only unique to them. But Xiaoji is the only character that I would consider removing, because she just adds a weirdness into the game. And the way they do the cutscenes is even weirder. Like, it's even weirder. She breaks down crying and it's just like he's taking care of a child. She's not supposed to be a child. I get the history, I get it. But this is Dynasty Warriors. This is not, 200 AD. This is Dynasty Warriors, a game loosely based on history. Loosely based on history. If you're gonna bring her into the game, there's ways to do it, but not like this. The hatred for Zhang Fei goes up even more when you throw it in our faces. How does that make any sense? Why would you do that? There was a game called Dynasty Warriors Blast, I think, and that's why she got added into it, because she won a contest. So who thought this was a good idea? Okay, maybe the quote-unquote fans overseas votes for Xiaoji to be put in. Fine, but you guys still have the final say of who gets put into the game. The animations, the designs, the voices, the cutscenes, everything that you make for that character is still decided by the higher ups or whatever, right? So I would love to be in the meeting room when they were like, yeah, Xiaoji, let's make her look 13, the wife of Zhang Fei, and the mother of Jing Sai and Zhang Bao. And let's put her in scenes where they're addressing her as so. That's probably where most of my passion is gonna go. Xiaoji definitely needs a change. I'm beating a dead horse by now. But anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is the, again, most accurate, probably most hated list. This list actually makes more sense than the one that I did like a couple years ago or whatever, because I have much more data to look at versus just the small sample that I had back then. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, definitely appreciate a like, comment, or subscribe. Let me know what you guys think about my list down below, all your thoughts, anything of that nature, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks, guys.